This week on Google Workspace Recap, Full HD finally launches in Google Meet, but not for everyone. Google is adding a search bar to the editors. There's new Smart Chip functionality added in Sheets. You can customize when chats get auto-deleted, and much more. Before we jump in, if you would like to hire us at Tab Services to help you with your Google Workspace, you can email us at info@tabgeeks.com and let us know you heard about us on Workspace Recap. Now onto the show. Updates to image insertion in Google Sheets on Android. As Google continues to roll out new updates for a obvious coming foldable device and other foldable Android devices, you can now drag and drop or copy and paste an image into Google Sheets on Android as an over-the-grid or over-grid image rather than an in-cell image. You're also now able to convert over-grid images into in-cell images via the context menu. This is rolling out to rapid release domains now and should launch to scheduled release domains planned for May 8th. Google Slides warriors, say that 3 times fast, will rejoice with this new update. You can now easily drag and drop your photos onto Google Slides to change your images. Previously, to replace an image in Google Slides, you had to either use the menu toolbar or right-click on the image you wanted to replace and select Replace Image. Starting this week, you'll have the additional option to easily drag and drop images from anywhere to replace images in your Slides presentations. This is rolling out on rapid release domains now and will launch to scheduled release domains starting on May 9th. You can now attach a document, spreadsheet, or presentation to a Google Calendar event directly from Meet in Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Today, you can already share a file in Google Meet Chat when using Meet in Docs, Sheets, and Slides. But with this launch, you can easily attach that file to the associated Google Calendar event, allowing meeting attendees to access the file more easily. This is rolling out to Google Workspace Business Standard, Business Plus, Enterprise Essentials, Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, Education Standard, Education Plus, the Teaching and Learning Upgrade, and Nonprofits customers only. On the emoji front, you're going to be able to add emoji reactions to existing comments in Google Docs. This comes on the heels of last year's emoji reaction feature update that has been fully rolled out, and this provides a less formal alternative to comments in Google Docs. So if you've got, there's a nice image here, which I'll put up on the side. If you have somebody who puts a comment on the document and you have a bunch of other people who agree with that person, they can give a plus or a thumbs up or a +1 or a little 100 or fire, whatever emoji is your favorite to drop on there to let everybody know that you agree. This will be rolling out to rapid release domains now and is launched to scheduled release domains planned for May 3rd, which is tomorrow. Now on to the published releases. You may have noticed in Google's recent updates and redesigns that they've done to the editors, it's gotten a little difficult to find where all of your favorite tools have gone. Google's moved things around, they've made it easier to find things, but there's still a lot of menu items to go through when you're trying to find the item you're looking for. So Google today is adding a search bar directly to the formatting bar, as you can see in the image over on the side here. And for those of you who are on the podcast side, hop over to YouTube and you'll be able to see it as well. These refined tool finding capabilities aim to help you quickly locate relevant features or functionality using your own words. So for example, if you search, quote, "who last viewed this document," the activity dashboard will suffice. That's really cool. This is going to help a lot with user discovery of unknown tools as well. Another example of Google being super helpful here is if you open the Enhanced Tool Finder immediately after you create a file, you're going to notice suggestions for common actions that users take when preparing a new document, spreadsheet, or presentation, such as page setup, drop-down, meeting notes in Docs, or insert rows and columns, merge cells, and freeze rows/columns in Sheets, page setup and spell check, and edit theme in Slides. This is really a great way to help people just get to what they usually do in their documents. Like, for example, I always freeze cells in Sheets or I always freeze the top row in my Sheets when I set it up. So thank you, Google, for saving time. Once you begin editing, you can find recent actions by clicking into the tool finder for easy access to your previously used features. Prior to this launch, you could find features by navigating to Help and then Search through the menus, but starting today, that's going to direct you to the Enhanced Tool Finder. After a short transition period, the redirect will be removed and the tool finder will live permanently in the toolbar. An additional note here, you will always be able to get the Find and Replace tool at the bottom of search results, which will open with your query pre-populated. This is the kind of update I like to see from Google. There's no admin control for this feature to turn it on or off, but it will be rolling out up to 15 days for feature visibility for gradual rollout on rapid release domains, already started April 25th, and scheduled release domains are starting next week on May the 10th. It is going to be available to all Google Workspace customers, as well as Legacy G Suite Basic and business customers, and available to users with personal Google accounts. So in other words, everybody. Next up, pass me the bubbly. Google is finally launching Full HD 1080 in Google Meet. Finally, which Zoom has had forever. But anyway, Not only are they launching it in Google Meet, they're also launching it in the ability for Google Meet live streams, which we'll cover later in the episode here. There is one caveat before I go into the details of the update, is that it only works one-on-one. We have confirmed this with Google, both on Twitter, which I'll put up over here, and from some of the support documents in the forums as well. We've already been talking about this, and it is coming where they're going to roll it out to everybody else, but it's not quite there yet. So this is also only coming to select Google Workspace editions. So let me go into the update here. For select Google Workspace editions, you're going to be able to set Google Meet video resolution to 1080p. Woohoo! This resolution is available on the web when using a computer with a 1080p camera and enough computing power in meetings with two participants. That's the key element there. The new high-definition resolution is off by default, and eligible users will be prompted before entering the meeting about the new 1080p option, or it can be turned off via the settings menu. Now, if you are in the rapid release, you may already see this rolling out. I already have it on multiple domains of mine, and it started rolling out on April 25th. If you're on a scheduled release domain, it will start rolling out on May the 4th, and will be available specifically to Google Workspace Business Standard, Business Plus, Enterprise Starter, Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, the Teaching and Learning Upgrades, Education Plus, Enterprise Essentials, and Frontline customers, as well as Google One subscribers with 2 terabytes or more of storage space with eligible devices. Those are it's an interesting selection here. I personally think that they really should have rolled this out for everybody, and it should be done already. And honestly, I have been using it, and it does make the video feed that much crisper, that much sharper. It really does look good. Let's get it turned on for everyone now. Granted, yes, Google is scaling and trying to roll it out to everybody, but it's Google. Come on. It's got to look good. All right, next update. Introducing additional smart chip functionality in Google Sheets. Earlier this year, Google added place chips, finance chips, and expanded date capabilities to Google Sheets in the latest innovations in Smart Canvas. Today, they're adding even more features that will help you access and include rich context-setting information directly in Sheets. The wording is a little funky here, but previously in Docs, in other words, the way you could do it in Docs, they're expanding YouTube chips to Sheets to help you more easily manage YouTube content. The feature allows you to add YouTube data, such as the title, description, and video preview, directly into your spreadsheet cell. Simply copy and paste a YouTube link into the cell, hover over it, and click the chip option included in the Replace URL hover card. This should be helpful for anytime you're posting a YouTube video in your sheet, which actually, as a content creator, I do rather frequently. So appreciate this one, Google. You can now insert multiple smart chips and text into a single cell using the At menu. This enhances your ability to quickly preview and interact with even more context-setting information in Sheets. This is a gradual rollout for rapid release domains started already on April 26th, and is a gradual rollout for scheduled release domains starting on May 10th next week. It is available to all Google Workspace customers as well as legacy G Suite Basic and business customers, and to everyone with personal Google accounts, so everybody. All right, next. New Alert Center notifications for Apple Push certificates. This is going to be a small subset of our listener base, I believe, but the Apple Push Notification Service, otherwise known as APNS certificate, is a critical component for advanced mobile management for iOS devices. This certificate does expire yearly, and it requires a manual renewal. Previously, I've personally gotten notifications for this via email, and I'm glad to see it's coming to the dashboard. So if you don't necessarily see it in email, or if you are not using an account that would get those notifications, when you go into the admin dashboard, you will see the notification now that, hey, your certificate is 30, 10, and 1 day from the date of expiration, or it has expired. This has no rollout pace. It is available now, and the availability, it looks to be pretty much everybody. Google Workspace Business Plus, Enterprise Essentials, Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, Education Standard, Education Plus, the Teaching and Learning Upgrade, Education Fundamentals, Frontline, and Cloud Identity Premium customers. I think I'm just going to have to set a recording of myself on different levels of availability so that I don't have to say it over and over and over and over and over again. All right, next update. Set a custom time period for messages to be automatically deleted in Google Chat. This is a retention policy. This is automated, and this has been heavily requested by a lot of people in the community. For select Google Workspace editions, admins can now define a duration after which their users' messages in Google Chat will be deleted automatically. This can apply to messages in one-on-one conversations, group conversations, and spaces. Time periods can be assigned for each message type. Note that this retention period only applies to messages sent when history is enabled. The auto-deletion timeframe can range from 30 days to several years. This feature is off by default and can be configured at the OU level for one-on-one direct messages. Group messages and spaces can be configured at the domain level. You can visit the Help Center to learn more about controlling Google Chat auto-deletion settings. The rollout for this, for both rapid release and scheduled release domains, is a gradual rollout up to 15 days for feature visibility that started on April 28th, 2023. It is available to Google Workspace Business Plus, Enterprise Standard, Enterprise Plus, Education Standard, and Education Plus customers. And last of the published updates. In addition to doing full 1080 for video feeds in Google Meet, you now have full HD in Google Meet live streams, as I mentioned earlier. Recently, Google announced full HD video. I just said that. Yada, 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 yada. Similar to that, they're adding 1080p as a resolution option for live streaming video, which is an increase from 720. Thank God. If there's not enough bandwidth, the video feed will automatically revert to the best quality possible. This update delivers a higher quality, crisp video experience for those viewing a live stream. Now, if we get it up to 2K, I'd be even happier. This is the company that owns YouTube, remember? The rollout pace for this on both rapid and scheduled release domains is a full rollout, 1 to 3 days for feature visibility that started on April 28th. So you probably should all be seeing this feature available now, as long as you are a licensed user of Google Workspace Enterprise Starter, Enterprise Plus, Enterprise Standard, Education Plus, and Teaching and Learning Upgrade. And that is it for the published releases. Let's head over to the news. On the Chromebook security front, Google is introducing a new privacy switch that is able to be software controlled on Chrome OS. This is not the same as the hardware switches that we have seen from many hardware manufacturers such as HP or Framework. This is a software switch that you're going to be able to control to manually cut off access to the camera and to the microphone. And this can be controlled via Chrome OS management. The update is rolling out later this year, according to Google, and when it does arrive, users are going to be able to access it via a new section in the settings called Privacy Controls, which will be found under Settings, Security, and Privacy. Google is also expanding enterprise and business-oriented security features that include new identity and data control features that help IT departments manage user logins and help keep sensitive information from inadvertently traveling around and outside organizations. It includes the ability to block users from sharing sensitive files to places that they shouldn't, and to print only where they should print, suppress copy and paste abilities from keeping text from dropping into the wrong place, and much more. This is taken from a Verge article, by the way, so if you would like to see the links are down below. In addition to that, Google is also working with popular third-party enterprise management and security companies such as Palo Alto, CrowdStrike, Microsoft, and others to give IT departments the ability to better integrate Chromebooks within their environments. For example, organizations that are using CrowdStrike XDR for threat monitoring can now use Google's XDR connector framework to link up Chromebooks to their Falcon platform. Google also has connectors for organizations that use Chronicle and Cortex for access event reporting, as well as Azure AD and Netscope for identity management, not to be confused with Netscape, which is something else entirely. Next, this is for a small subset of our users or your clients if you are a reseller. Anybody who has Google Workspace through Squarespace should be warned that, well, it's not the greatest. It's kind of a pain in the butt to manage. And if you want to take over managing a Squarespace version of Google Workspace, you first have to release the Google Workspace account back to Google and then have to go and request it over to join you as a reseller. Now, the reason why this is coming up is because Squarespace is notifying its customers that if you are on one of the basic versions, of the older versions of Google Workspace, you do need to upgrade. And we've talked about previously on the show that essentially there are people that are still using the legacy G Suite Basic and Business, and they're supposed to be done already, so what's taking them so long? So the answer is probably this. It's probably other vendors, and there are others who do this as well, whether it's GoDaddy or Wix does it as well. In this case, Squarespace is recommending that, or not recommending, requiring that everybody has to upgrade to a higher tier, the newer specific Google Workspace plans. In general, if somebody is setting up a Squarespace website, yes, you can get Google Workspace and a domain generally for free or very affordable. I would advise against it. I would say get the domain for free, route it to Google Workspace, but don't set up Google Workspace through Squarespace because it can be very difficult to get your account managed elsewhere. The Google Authenticator update that came out last week, which we all were very happy to see, where you are now able to sync your authentication codes with your Google account, has one caveat that we have since learned. It is not end-to-end encrypted. And most people, I think this isn't going to be really a major deal for. If you are somebody who needs to be in an ultra-secure environment, such as a bank, or somebody who is a nation-state actor would be interested in you, if you're a spy, you should be worried about this. For most people, what this means is that you could have a man-in-the-middle attack, or you could have somebody at Google with nefarious intent who wants to grab your two-factor authentication code, who would then need your password to log in, as well as your two-factor authentication code, in order to access your bank, for example, or your admin panel of other products that you use. And in this case, if they were able to intercept that, they would be able to log in and, well, have full access as you. For most people, as long as your Google password is a secure password and you don't use it anywhere else, and it's specifically generated for this, and you have two-factor authentication on, this is not going to be much of a security issue for you. The reason for this right now is because, as often occurs with security updates, you need to walk a line between security and usability. Total secure is utterly unusable, and totally usable is, well, not really secure. And so we've come a long way in moving security by default in terms of the web, in terms of the internet, and the applications that we use such as having SSL certificates on all of our websites. And one of the ways that they managed to roll that out to everybody is by making it annoying to use if you didn't have it. They put warnings on all websites, things like that, but it was a very difficult process to get there. And the same thing is going to happen here. Eventually we will get there. It will be end-to-end encrypted, similarly to how your WhatsApps are or Signal messages are, things like that, from other companies, of course. But in this case, they wanted to make sure that it was rolled out, that the syncing was rolled out at scale, and it was not going to create an environment where you may have users who are less tech savvy completely lose access to their account, because then they wouldn't have the encryption code and wouldn't be able to ever get back into their account. So again, walking that line, we'll get there, but for most people, we are definitely not there yet. So again, if you are a spy, then you might not want to use the sync there, and you may want to find a tool that is end-to-end encrypted or a different solution. And personally, I'm very happy to have my sync on, and it has already been helpful because I was able to move to a new device and just look up my sync code without having to get my original phone out of storage. Lastly, in the news, Google Cloud has finally made a profit. They have been on a tear the last several years, working to catch up and to hopefully overtake some of the bigger rivals in the space, obviously AWS and Azure, and it looks like they're finally gaining some ground here. Thomas Kurian came on a couple of years ago in 2019, and they have been fighting an uphill battle, really, to win much larger enterprise clients to finally make a profit. Now, I will note that included in this is Google Workspace. Google Workspace is a part of Google Cloud. So if they succeed, we're succeeding, and Google's continue to invest in all of these areas. So that's rather excellent. The headline of this article here is Google Cloud boss Kurian's rocky path to profit. Quote, "We were not in a very good situation." And I love these types of articles because it's peeling back the curtain just a little bit so that we can get kind of an inkling into an idea of how these organizations are run. And in this case, an organization that we are so heavily invested in, how what their thinking is and what they have been working towards. And some of it is obvious, of course, but some of it also is letting us know that, hey, Google at the time, Google Cloud was not in a very good situation. And I did not know that. So always like seeing these types of articles here. Essentially, the rest of that quote there is, we were not in a very good situation when I joined. I think we were very early in the business. Most enterprises did not take us as a viable partner. What that means is that Google was young. They had the technology, they were building great solutions, but nobody really trusted them as an enterprise partner, and they had to go ahead and prove themselves. And they got on a bunch of early partners, which was great. Home Depot, I believe, was one of them, and many others. And they have since focused on, where's the quote for this? "We shifted the organization from thinking we're building technology to we're building products and solutions." And that's a big shift for Google. So it's great to see that shift happening and working out for Google thus far. Another thing I wanted to note from the article here is that the cloud unit now accounts for more than 25% of Alphabet's full-time workforce. Alphabet obviously being the company that owns Google and is essentially Google. Another way that Google helped to build out this division is by acquiring some rather large and important startups. So they bought a startup called Looker, which, I mean, sure, it's a startup, but they're a pretty big company. They paid $2.4 billion for Looker in 2019, and they also bought the reigning software vendor, Mandiant, for $6.1 billion. And Mandiant is basically, if there's a breach and you're at a big company, you call Mandiant. It's just, there's nobody else at this point. So with adding those to the roster, Google has been able to shore up enough technology and enough solutions to be able to convince enterprise companies to come on board. So hopefully this continues on this trajectory and continues to benefit Google, because then Google will continue investing in it, and we, at the end of the day, will get a better product overall. That's all for this week. Hope Steve is feeling better. We'll be back on the show next week. If you liked this format, let us know. Let me know your thoughts. This was an experiment. You know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, give us thumbs up, etc. Leave a review on your favorite podcasting platform if you're listening over on that side of things. Have a great week. And actually, one last thing I wanted to mention is, I saw this on a different show. If you could put a computer emoji in the comments over on the YouTube side so that we would know that you made it all the way to the end of the episode, I can know how many of you are actively making it to the end of the episode, and also it really helps YouTube's engagement algorithm to help push our content out to more of the audience, because we are still an itty-bitty channel just crossing 500 subscribers. So anyway, have a great week, and we'll see you next time on Workspace Recap.